Hey creative sisters, it's Kimberly from His Palette, and today on our YouTube channel I wanted to do another tutorial on the washi tape technique that I demonstrated in our Facebook group. The Facebook group is His Palette Bible Journaling FB Community, and we have a lot of resources over there as well. And so what I wanted to do today is kind of mix it up a bit and use some other mediums so you can get an idea of the kinds of things you can substitute and do it in a way where it works for you and you don't have to go out and buy any new supplies. So I am working on a stretch canvas, and instead of doing what I did last time with the washi tape, where I only put it on part of the page, I am going to do the entire background in the washi tape technique, so there's no open spaces, no white spaces, and we're going to use it as background. So these are the washi tapes I chose. Let's see. They are in shades of like blush, like a peachy pink, and browns and beiges. And so these will be the washes that we use. So right now, what I'm going to do is kind of lay them out so I can get a good look at them. And I'm going to start laying down washi tape. Now, I'm not sure if I should maybe put some gel medium down first to make it so it's more easily sticks to the canvas. We'll have to see what happens. If I find that it isn't sticking, then I will absolutely lay down some gel medium and then put the washi on. So I'm kind of doing it in a haphazard way. There's not a whole lot of thought process. Excuse me. There's not a whole lot of thought process going into this here at the beginning. I'm just trying to get the different washes, the different patterns down in different areas, so we can kind of have a mix. And hopefully I'm going to be able to keep up with the, this vertical pattern. Maybe a couple horizontal, but I'd like most of the washi tape to be vertical. So I'm going to grab this really cool brown and white, and I'm actually going to do this one vertical. Also, if you're having a hard time getting your washi to stick, one thing you could do is grab a glue stick. Just kind of lay down a little bit of glue and then put it right on top. And then you don't have to go through the process of laying down a layer of gel medium. And what I was going for with this color scheme is basically pink, light pinks, blush color, and shades of brown. And then the mediums that I'm going to use are in similar colors. Okay. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth through the washi tape to cover up all this white until it is all covered. So at this point, I think I'm going to speed up the video a little bit. You don't need to watch me attach every single piece of washi tape. So we'll speed it up and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that most of the canvas is basically covered in the washi tapes I've chosen, I'm going to add the clear gesso. And if you're not doing this step when you do this technique, you may be having trouble with it, and the reason is because the washi tape has a bit of a gloss to it, and for lack of a better word, it's slippery. So you're not going to get the same kind of tooth you would get from something with, without slick tape on the top of it. So what this does, what the clear gesso does, is it gives the top of the washi tape some tooth to hold onto when you put down your paint or your mica powders or your magicals or whatever you decide. So I'm going to dry that. And I'm not sure if you noticed during the portion that was sped up. I was laying some of the washi tape over the sides, and I will finish that. I'm not sure if I want all the sides to have washi on them, or if I want some of it to have paint, or how I want to go about it. But I did overlap that in some areas. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. My allergies have been acting up all day, so I apologize for the sound effects. And so while I'm drying this, let me show you some of the substitutions that I made. Here I have just some concentrated pigmented mica powder that I'm going to use. I have Ken Oliver's Color Burst, which I'm not sure if it's mica powder, but it acts like mica powder. And actually I've seen this compared to the Magicals. Then Ken Oliver also made these liquid metals, this iron oxide, and I'm thinking what I'd like to do, instead of the black ink, maybe using the liquid metals to darken areas towards the end. If not, I have the Vintage Photo for Distress Inks and the black soot. Okay, now I have decided that I'm actually going to add some more gesso to the sides there. Even if I do cover some of it up, it will be nice to have part of this pattern around the edges. I'm just going to add some glue. And then maybe this flower one. Okay. And then some areas I have somewhat covered with washi. But then, because I went vertical when I laid the washi on the front of the canvas, I didn't have any to pull down. So, let's see. Whoops. Goodness. This one little spot here. That, and then I think just for these few areas, we'll do the flowers again. Maybe one small piece, if I can get some of this off properly. Okay, there we go. Add some right there to that spot. I'll rip that off. And now I want to make sure I seal and add that gesso to the sides to give it some tooth. That should be good. There. And then we'll dry some more on the top, and then we'll dry the edges. Oh. see. I had it that way. Trying to get the top a little bit. And then we will move on to adding some color with the mica powders. Okay, now actually before, excuse me, I lay that color down, I am going to grab a palette knife, and even though there isn't any white space left on here, what I'd like to do is similar to what we did the first time that I demonstrated this technique, is to lightly scrape over some white gesso or some white acrylic paint, just barely touching the page, so you can have almost like a paint looking effect. So let me show you. And we're also going to be using texture paste as well. So just like with the other one, kind of brought this down lightly, you know, not pushing too hard on it, because I don't want a lot of white to cover up what I just did. Let's go here. There we go. And right now I'm just starting out with a little bit at a time, but I may add more to it. I just would rather add more than have too much on, and then I'm trying to correct that mistake. And there we go. And so you see it's not covering much of the patterns or the images on the washi tape, but it's breaking it up a little bit so you have a more painted looking effect. Okay, I think we're good for now. Let me just clean this off real quick. And we'll dry that. And then once we dry this, we'll add some texture paste, and then we will add some color. Now, I love the Crafters Workshop light and fluffy modeling paste. I love the consistency of it. I adore, you know, just how light it is and how smoothly it will move across my page. I'm not putting a lot on, just like with the paint. I'm just putting a minimal amount on and lightly brushing it over the top of the washi. I'm kind of going around seeing areas that I feel like I could add more texture to. Let's see. Oh, I'll do one across here. Okay, clean that off. Oops. And now we're off to dry the texture base. Now, though I've told you time and time again that it is really important for you to dry each of your layers when you are working on mixed media, due to the fact that if you don't, then you won't get, each layer won't be its own separate layer and have its own look added to it. It will instead mix with the previous layer. And so, so yes, you do want to really dry all your layers, but you definitely want to make sure that when you're using texture paste that it is completely dry inside and out. It doesn't need to be cured, but it does need to be really super dry, because as soon as I put color on here, if it's not, it will mix with the color. It will the color will then get cloudy because of the texture paste mixing with it, and then the texture will go away and oftentimes flatten because it didn't have a chance to dry, and now that you've wet it with another medium, it's kind of softened it up. So basically, your best bet with all your layers is to dry. But I can't think of a time where I have ever not really dried my texture paste. Like, I think that's probably super important when you're using modeling paste or texture paste. Okay, so now this is all dry. And now let's start to add some color. So what I would first like to do, hopefully, whoops, I can, so I have a little bit in the top there of the mica powder. A little bit in the top there, and then we'll add those later. So I don't want my brush too damp when I pick this up. And just trying to get some of this mica powder down, but you know, keeping it pretty watered down. Okay, so let's do that. Then we'll add some of this kind of like a nude color. I'm just going around the page looking to see what could use some color. And as you can see, this mica powder is not super vibrant, but the colors that I'm using for this specific project are very muted colors as well. Okay, I'll put that over there. And then I'm going to grab a spritz bottle and just kind of lightly spray this so I can kind of get the color moving. Okay, and then while it is still wet like that, I'm going to try to get some of this blush pink, more of that in there, because there seems to be a lot of that nude color, but not much of this like blush pink. Oh, there we go. Yeah. And then now that I've sprayed it, it's showing up better. And then I'm just going around trying to see what areas could use some more color. Getting closer. Okay. So I've got the pink blush and the kind of peachy nude. Now I have, this is called Sepia in the Ken Oliver Color Burst. Let's see what that will do. We add a little bit of that. And then we'll spray it. To see what happens. Now you can see already from this color burst, like the color is so pigmented, it's already showing up. So I'm just gonna spray a little bit. And so it's not only got that sepia color in it, but it has some additional colors as well, which gives this piece an interesting look, because they are colors that I wasn't really expecting, but I think once I dry this, it will really give it a little something extra, you know, with these blues and darker pinks in it. And right now it's pretty wet, and so before I try to add any additional color, I want to dry some of this up, because if we get it too wet, then it's going to be dripping all over the place, and we're really not going to be able to keep the color on the canvas. Oh wow, I'm not even sure if the camera is picking this up, but the texture is absolutely amazing. It looks so good. So what I'd like to try to do is use this liquid metal instead of the black spray. If this doesn't work, then I will use the vintage photo spray, vintage photo spray to add some dark areas to it. But let's see, whoops, what we can do with this now that it's dry. So, oh, there we go. And I'm just trying to add it here and there. And then again, I'm going to take my little spritz and spritz it a little bit so I can get it moving. That's good. Try to get some darker pieces in there. And maybe a couple in here. And darken in a little bit. And then just kind of move it back and forth over the page. to try to get some of the colors to sit in these creases nicely. I'm just kind of dabbing this around the sides so it's not drippy and messy everywhere. So I feel like I could still use one more dark color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this, and then we will add, you know what, maybe we will add the black, just to give it some contrast. And then we'll add a focal point when we're done getting all the mediums down. Since this is a stretch canvas, I'm going to try to put something under it so I can still attempt to stamp on it. I'm hoping if I put up maybe a book down the middle, it'll pick up those stamps. And see, if you really look, you can see some little bits of the blue and that hot pink underneath there that was in the sepia powder. Okay. Now, let's see if I can add some black for some contrast. I am going to use a paintbrush because it's easier to control that way. Oh, I almost tipped that. Now, y'all know I would have flipped out. Let's see. Spritz a little. Give it some movement. I'm trying to get some of the dark on the edges here. Kind of frame it up a little. And then again, we are going to add some spritz. Okay. I'm gonna grab this bigger one. See if I can get some dark colors over there. Trying to move that black around so it doesn't look too uniformed. Okay. Now, even though I made, as you can see, a hot mess on my desk, I will grab some Windex, and when I'm done here, and it'll come right up. Okay, let's see what happens when we dry it. I really love how the black looks in contrast with the lighter shades of this pink and this nude color. I think it makes it pop. And since we got the surface pretty wet with the ink and the 2 different spray bottles of water, it's going to take a little longer to dry. But that's okay, because it's already really looking phenomenal. And so what I will do is I will dry this up off camera, and then we will come right back and try to see if we can get some stamps on the stretch canvas, and then add a focal point. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, so I have some VersaFine ink. I put a book underneath to try to see if that will help me to get an impression with the stamp on there. And so this first stamp is a Sweet and Sassy stamp, and as usual, I'm just gonna dip part of the stamp in the ink and try to get some partial impressions. That looks good. There we go. And I think this time I'm not going to put as many stamped images on. I just want to really hide any of the areas that I don't necessarily like. Or that I think could use some grunging up. Okay, so I think we're good there. Then I'm gonna grab this script stamp and do basically the same thing. Just put some random bits of script writing on it. Let's go there. Oh yeah. Maybe right there. There we go. So I want to shoot it a little bit with the heat tool again. And I just remembered I wanted to add some splashes or splatters at the end. So I'm just going to put it on here and really lightly try to get some splatters on there. Oops, a little bit over here. Okay. And then now I will dry this real quick, and I will come back and we will put our last finishing touches on. Okay, so the last thing I want to do before I start adding the focal point is I want to give it a quick spray with this Krylon matte finish sealer, just to make sure everything's sealed in and won't easily come off. Make sure I got it. There we go. And then that dries pretty quick. And so I have a couple of things that I was thinking about adding as a focal point. So let me show you. So what I was originally gonna do is maybe add this and that, but I feel like there's no texture with that. And then I was wondering, something like that. Wouldn't this look good on the side there? Maybe something like that. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that. And then I even thought about using this old Illustrated Faith vinyl sticker. I like the stitched frame, so I do want to keep that no matter what I choose. And I thought maybe just kind of layering it like that. And then maybe even I don't know that I want to use a butterfly again. I think that may be it. Just this. And then I might consider adding a wax seal, maybe somewhere over here, to bring a little bit of color there. But other than that, I believe that this is done. And so if you saw my first tutorial on the Facebook group, this looks completely different. And that's one of the things that I love about this technique so much is, you know, with the moving of the ink and the water and the pigment and the mica, you never really get the same look twice, you know. It's really just an amazing surprise every time I do this. So yeah, I think I will maybe add a wax seal. I'll show you at the end of the video. But I think that's probably all I'm going to add, and then this will be done. So thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate all of you. If you can, if you're interested, you can get notified when I do post a video on my YouTube channel if you hit the subscribe button. So be sure to subscribe and like this video with a thumbs up. And I will be back soon. Thank you all. Love you. God bless.